It was 3:14 a.m. when the alarms at the American Museum of Natural History failed to sound. The lights inside the gem hall flickered, then settled. Outside, a gentle rain had begun to fall, washing over the imposing Beaux Arts architecture of one of New York City's most revered institutions. Inside, a trio of young men moved with a hesitant, almost amateurish confidence. Their target wasn't just any jewel. It was the Star of India, a 563-carat sapphire, roughly the size of a golf ball, famous for its milky blue hue and the rare asterism that gave it its name. For decades, it had rested securely in its display, a symbol of permanence. This wasn't an Ocean's 11-style operation. No laser grids, no sophisticated hacks. Just three young men, Jack Murphy, Alan Kuhn, and Roger Clark, driven by a blend of youthful recklessness and a misguided sense of entitlement. Their plan, if one could call it that, was audacious in its simplicity, bordering on foolishness. They'd chosen a window on the museum's west side, overlooking Central Park, for their entry point. A window they'd noticed was frequently left ajar. The year was 1964. New York City was a vibrant, bustling metropolis, but its institutions, particularly those built generations prior, often harbored vulnerabilities that modern security protocols would deem unthinkable. The museum's security was one such relic. Their initial reconnaissance was rudimentary, based more on observation than strategic planning. They'd noticed the open window during daylight visits, a small, almost insignificant detail that would become the linchpin of their entire operation. The night of October 29, 1964, was chosen. The city was settling into its late autumn chill. The museum, usually a hive of activity, was quiet, save for the hum of its ancient heating system and the occasional footsteps of an overworked night watchman. Murphy, the de facto leader, was a known surf bum from Miami. Kuhn and Clark, his associates, shared similar backgrounds, young men with a penchant for petty crime, seeking a score that would elevate them beyond their small-time exploits. They scaled a rain gutter, their movements clumsy and unpracticed. The open window, just as they'd anticipated, provided easy access. They slipped inside, their hearts pounding, into the silent, cavernous space of the museum's upper floors. Their target, the Gem Hall, was a floor below. The museum's interior was a labyrinth, but they knew the general direction. They moved stealthily, navigating by the faint glow of emergency lights and the occasional beam from a passing car's headlights. Upon reaching the Gem Hall, they found the display cases. To their astonishment, the security measures were laughably minimal. Many cases were simply left unlocked or secured with obsolete locks that a simple pry bar could defeat. The Star of India, along with several other priceless jewels, including the DeLong Star Ruby and the Midnight Star Black Sapphire, was in a case that was locked. But it was a lock that Murphy, with a surprising knack for breaking and entering, quickly bypassed. They scooped up the jewels, stuffing them into their pockets with little regard for their fragility or immense value. The heist itself took mere minutes. No alarms sounded. No guards appeared. It was an almost unrealistically smooth operation for such amateurs. Their exit was as straightforward as their entry. Back out the open window, down the rain gutter, and into the waiting getaway car. The rain had intensified, providing a natural cover for their escape into the New York night. The next morning, the city awoke to the news of the theft. The headlines screamed. The American Museum of Natural History, a bastion of culture, had been violated. The sheer audacity, combined with the apparent ease, shocked the public and embarrassed authorities. The police, led by Detective Jack Mullarkey, quickly began their investigation. The lack of forced entry, the specific target selection, and the amateurish execution pointed to a specific profile. Young, reckless, and likely unprepared for the aftermath. Murphy and his crew, meanwhile, were already attempting to fence their ill-gotten gains. They knew nothing of the intricate world of high-value gem sales. They approached street-level fences, offering jewels worth millions for a fraction of their true value. This amateurish attempt to sell the jewels proved to be their undoing. Word traveled quickly through the underworld. A Miami-based informant, hearing of the boys trying to offload such unique stones, tipped off the police. Within days, Mullarkey and his team had identified the thieves. Murphy, Kuhn, and Clark were apprehended in Miami, still in possession of many of the stolen gems, including the Star of India itself. The recovery of the Star of India was a massive relief. The jewels were returned to the museum, albeit with significantly enhanced security. The thieves faced justice, their brief moment of notoriety quickly replaced by prison sentences. The star of India Heist remains a peculiar footnote in the annals of criminal history. It highlights how even the most valuable treasures can be vulnerable to the simplest of oversights, and how even the most ambitious crimes can be undone by amateur mistakes. It serves as a stark reminder that sometimes the greatest vulnerabilities aren't in elaborate systems, but in the forgotten details. An unlocked window, a dated security protocol, or the sheer, unadulterated hubris of three young men. To uncover more stories of audacity and oversight, delve into another chapter of criminal history.